Hello everyone, this is the 15th book in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, Skin Game. And this is now my favorite Dresden Files book by a mile. Oh, I hope I can do this justice. I literally just finished reading this maybe 10 minutes ago. Did my hair, put a shirt on. Now I'm going to talk about it. See what I can remember and mess up. So, Harry is, of course, owned by a fairy queen. He is the Winter Knight. His apprentice, also owned now by said fairy queen Mab, and she is the Winter Lady. And she sets them up to perform a heist. This is a heist book. She makes them work with who is basically Harry's arch nemesis. Molly, I should say, she's set off to the side, but she does turn up in the story. Harry has to go in with his arch nemesis, and it's told by the name of Nicodemus, who was many, many centuries old. He is one of the beings on this earth who picked up a coin, and that coin contains the essence of the actual original fallen angels. I guess the devil hasn't turned up yet. I guess I'm waiting on that character. There's actually a moment in this book when Nicodemus is at his height, so he thinks, and Harry comments, "Oh, this must be what the devil himself must have looked like when he had his last day in the heavens." And so, along with him, he's got his own team. One is some shapeshifter. One is another apprentice to him who's been around for a very long time also. So Harry has to work with one of the most evil beings that's ever existed and go in to the vault of Hades and get an object, and it's not easy to not that hard to figure out. It's going to be the Holy Grail sitting in that vault. So Harry is needed because he's the one who's going to open the way into a fantasy land and get them all in there. Throughout this, my goodness, I mean, where to go on? He wants Murphy with him to watch his back. Unfortunately, in a rather big disagreement, Murphy wields one of the swords of the cross, and these are extraordinarily pure of heart items, and she has a moment where she's going to kill Nicodemus, and he surrenders. Well, she says, "Screw it, I'm going to kill this guy anyway." And it shatters when she uses it, and he gets up and just beats the hell out of her. She winds up hospitalized. It all comes to a halt. They still have to do what they have to do because they cannot get out of this. And so Murphy's out of the picture, but a previous character, the previous owner of one of the Knights of the Sword, one of the swords, Michael. Michael has a family. Michael has a wife named Charity. Michael has several children. One of those children was Molly, Harry's apprentice. And this is the household where Harry has dropped off his actual real-life daughter, who is just a child, at that household. And up to this point, he hasn't met her yet, but we'll come back to that. And so Michael, he was terribly injured. He has to walk with a cane, just gunshot wounds, just put him out of action. There is an archangel in this book who is not allowed to take direct action. Well, in this he does, and this is where the scene with Murphy getting beaten up came to a halt, because Uriel stepped out and he couldn't directly do everything, and Dresden was just screaming for him to do something. Well, he did a little something indirect, and he took his essence and he gave it to Michael. Now, Michael doesn't have his full set of powers, or else he'd just be able to run over everybody. But he was able to completely heal Michael. He got the sword, his own sword back, and he was able to wield it. And everything came to a halt, and they had to continue on, and Michael goes with him on this heist. Now, the way this is set up is very, very clever writing, because it's done in a way that's going to make you question who's who and what's what. When when Gene Wilder did the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he said he would do it on one condition: that he was going to walk out hobbling on a cane, and then at the last second he was going to flip forward like he was falling, and then roll up in a somersault and go ta-da. He said the reason he did that is because from that moment forward, you don't know if he's going to be lying or telling the truth. And so in here we have these little instances where where the author set it up so anything can happen. It gives you like that kind of feeling. So, for example, Harry's having a dream, and in that dream he winds up talking to his apprentice Molly long distance, and she didn't know they could do that either. So, great, they may be able to do this in future and communicate. So he wakes up from the dream, and Murphy comes into his room, and she's like, we might not get this chance when you go in to do this heist, so we're doing this now. And she comes on to him strong. It is a couple pages of not like really graphic description, but oh boy, are they getting into it. And then all of a sudden Murphy's visage changes, and the eyes, an extra pair of eyes that belong to one of the fallen, appears on her forehead, and she holds a gun to Harry's head, and bam, he wakes up again. So it's a double wake-up dream, just to throw you off and mess with you. There was another one like, but whatever. So as this, there's several scenes that stand out so much. The standout scene, again, semi-spoilers here. Previously, Harry had had a child that he didn't know about, and had to literally sacrifice that child's mother in order to save that child and kill off the world of vampires. And the mother, of course, volunteered. She herself was turning into one, and this was her only way out. So wham, big dramatic moment, he kills her. Takes the daughter, gives it to Michael's family for the time being, but he did not meet her yet. And he'd been avoiding to do so. He had reasons to avoid it. In one book, he was dead, he couldn't go. In another book, he had to go do something for Mab, so he couldn't go. Well, now he goes. And there she is at the top of the stairs. And she says hello, and you're Harry Dresden. You want to see my room? Oh, it's a great line. And when he's there in the room, he tucks her in, and she asks, do you want to be my daddy? Oh, it's so good. Oh, but stab me right in the heart. And another great one. So this was the difference between Murphy making a mistake with the sword, the reason it broke. So here was, it's two different swords. She broke another one. Michael had another that Harry had with him. And so what goes on here is that they're in the climax of this. Everyone's betraying everyone. The battle's going to happen. Michael's got the sword going. He's fighting Nicodemus. And in the midst of this battle, Nicodemus is down. And Michael stops. And he goes into righteous preacher mode. You can come back. Because technically speaking, he's just a person. And it's this evil thing that kind of possesses him, that he took it on voluntarily. You have to take it on purpose. And you can be tortured into taking it. You do have a choice, but they can make it your only choice if they get a hold of you. So he's pleading and preaching, you can come back, you can stop now. And Nicodemus, there's this wonderful moment. It almost seems like he's considering it. But ultimately, it's a very big Darth Vader moment. It's too late for me. And so it's like, all right. And they go at it. Now he can use that sword against him to kill him. So whereas Murphy didn't try, she just didn't know to do so and suffered for it. Michael knew better. And so he was able to, I made the offer, so now it's time. So, when it's done, there's another scene, Harry meets Hades, And he's like, basically, this is a big setup. So, but again, something about the overpowers the guys. They can't really be too direct about things. So, Harry, this is up to you. But make no mistake, you get killed here, you're in my domain. Great scene with Harry's and Cerberus. In case you didn't know, if you Cerberus, you can just discover yourself. Just go look up the etymology of the word, and just keep in mind that it is a dog. In the end, there are more artifacts there than the Grail, and Harry gets them. And unfortunately, Nicodemus gets off with the Grail. He's able to escape. Now, the sword that got broken. This is awesome. The sword that got broken. To get revenge, basically the house that Michael and his family live in does have magical protection, but mundane people can get in, and Nicodemus has a lot of mundane people working for him. So they go to get revenge and attack the Michael Carpenter household. So there's the shattered sword. There's just a handle now, a little piece of it sticking out. Harry takes it, and he thinks he's got it right, and he's going to toss it to Michael's wife. And she misses it, and it skips over. Now there's this character. I called this. I thought it would be one of two people. One of the wielders of one of the three swords was killed, and the sword was put into Harry's keeping to find a new owner. Then when Michael was put out of action, he was given this. He gave the sword to Harry so he could look it over too, watch over it too, I should say, and pick new owners. So I thought a long time ago. Harry has a friend called Butters, Waldo Butters, and Butters he was an undertaker. He was the guy who's going to do autopsies. But he is now getting his sort of life in the world of magic, and he wasn't becoming a wizard, but he was able to do things with like magic items and things, and he winds up. I thought it's either going to be Murphy or Butters. Well, Murphy messed up, so we don't know about her anymore. Butters accidentally picked up that sword, and it lit up like a lightsaber because there's no blade. And Nicodemus is like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen here," and he scurries out. He's gone, but he got the Grail. So again, Michael has to give his essence back to Uriel, so he's hobbling around on a cane again. He gives Harry back the sword. You've got to be the caretaker again, find another one. Could be Murphy again eventually, who knows? But Butters, I think Butters, however, Nicodemus is the evil guy in these books, and I'm making a prediction that Butters is going to wind up losing his life. I think he's going to wind up getting killed. And maybe it's just one of those things that's going to set off the lead guy to finally take care of this guy once and for all. Maybe Harry will get the sword. There's two more floating out there, so maybe he'll get it. Get himself a lightsaber. It was an interesting scene. I wondered how this is going to weigh upon Murphy, because she messed up with the sword. Well, Butters has the sword now, and Butters visited her in the hospital. He's like, "Oh, it lit up like a lightsaber, and I scared off the bad guy. It was awesome." So usually Butters is a bit of a coward, and well, not in this one. He saved the day, actually. And they're like, "Look, dude, this is going to take some responsibility. You really got to wield this correctly. It's going to turn on you, and you got to fight bad guys now." So he's going to get training, and I think eventually it might. But what I meant to say was that whereas Murphy failed, he did not. The sword's still working for him. So we'll see how that business goes. And then I think that's about all that I can think of. Let me see if anything I jotted down while reading the dream. Oh. I forgot Harry's got 2 kids. So Molly is Maggie is one of them, the real child in the world. Long ago, Harry had one of those fallen from the coin get in his head. There's only a little piece, and it wound up turning and helping him out. It actually sacrificed itself to save him at one point. So, in that moment of sacrifice, combined with his own psyche, it gave birth to a new intelligence, which was in Harry's skull. And it was going to bust out in a few days and potentially kill him. Happily, it's not the case. But now the child is outside of his head, and they put it in this other skull, so it contains her essence, and they'll deal with that. So Harry's got a spiritual child and a real child. The drama builds. This is the best one. This is the best one. This one almost choked me up. Almost, but not quite. So we are now on to, this is book 15. What do I do with them? I've usually been buying one at a time, but I went ahead and got the last two. So these are what's out so far, book 16 and 17. Peace Talks and Battleground. When the supernatural nations of the world meet up to negotiate an end to ongoing hostilities, Harry Dresden joins the White Council's security team, that's the Wizards' security team, to make sure the talks stay civil. With the most influential members of those nations gathering in Harry's hometown, Chicago is about to get interesting. But some even bigger problems are arriving, courtesy of Harry's relatives. Family. Can't live with them, can't live without them. His brother is in trouble with a capital T. He's a vampire. His grandfather, the wizard Ebenezer McCoy, is warning him that a faction of the White Council is maneuvering to kick Harry out. And remember the Accords? Those are the agreements between all the supernatural nations. The agreement that the agreement that keeps all those supernatural nations playing sort of nice is under fire, teetering on the edge of destruction, and Harry's brother might have something to do with that. As dark political manipulations threaten the very existence of Chicago and Harry holds dear, and all Harry holds dear, it'll take everything he has and then some to have any hope of succeeding. So we got a brother-centered adventure there. I should read Skin Game, but Skin Games. Battlegrounds border, but we'll wait for that when we get to the next one. That's it then. A few days to get to Battleground, to get video for Peace Talks, and then maybe Battleground next Sunday. So then I'll be all caught up and done with Harry Dresden, and I can do a genre switch, which I really actually need. I'm not getting tired of Dresden, but I need some sci-fi. That's my usual thing, and it's been a little while. It's been a couple of months and then some, I think. But that's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week. I'm going to try to do the same. Bye-bye now.